Greetings, everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel, all that is. I'm so pleased to welcome Melissa Brace back to the show. If you have been tuning in, Melissa and I have been here as a regular on Thursdays at 5:55 p.m. PST, so please make sure to hit that notifications bell, subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned to all of these exciting cosmic and interdimensional conversations and the live psychic medium readings that Melissa has blessed us with. So be sure to tune in and join us every Thursday. Before we dive into today's show, let's give Melissa a warm welcome back to the channel. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you, Raquel. Hi, everybody. Welcome, everybody. I'm excited about our topic today. We're going to have a really good time.
Awesome. Thank you. I think people are just rolling in, so we'll check back in with the chat in a little while. But before we get started, for whoever's tuning in right now, I just wanted to say that, Melissa has been with us now for a few weeks. I think it's been, 2 months now, Melissa, since we've been doing this. So yeah, if you haven't already become familiar with Melissa's work, she is a natural-born psychic medium and channeler for the last 30 years. She is renowned for her abilities, clarity, integrity, and kindness. And in her own words, Melissa says she is a multidimensional conduit connecting directly with God. Her diverse titles and roles cover many spiritual practices and beliefs, like a starseed, a healer, a divine alchemist, a visionary, a mystic, a life coach, a Reiki master, a spiritual hypnotherapist, an animal communicator, a curse breaker, a prayer warrior, and a cosmic tour guide. So if you are in Arizona, check her out. That's for sure. She's doing these live shows there. And for many years, she has been affectionately known as the Angel Lady by those who seek her guidance and her support. And we have had that beautiful presence here on the channel as well, where she's blessed us with her prayers as a prayer warrior. And if you are going to stay in on this channel till the end, you'll probably witness that towards the end, where we like to usually end the show with a prayer. So yeah, anything you wish to add, Melissa, to just your journey and just being here on the show with us today?
I think this week it's been really fun because I keep witnessing some miracles and it helps me learn and grow and keep going along the way and reminds me of how I can uplift and heal and again learn and grow and stay in that higher frequency foundation a little bit longer, a little bit more, and a little bit differently than previously known. So that's been really fun. And so we've been doing lots of Moldavite grid. People keep asking for the Moldavite grid healing session, and it just pushes the energy, the lower energy out and realigns you. And it's really been fun. I've just been seeing miracles. So I hope everybody, through these chaotic ups and downs and kind of attacky energy and all those things, I hope everybody has been feeling that higher frequency, that light streaming in, because it's just glorious. So yeah, thank you. How about you?
Yeah, I feel it too. And today's subject, bridging to the new earth, is very appropriate to bring those energies in, right? And I haven't personally experienced Moldavite, but hopefully when we get to meet up, I will definitely indulge in that. But yeah, I definitely feel those higher energies coming in, and we'll go into more detail about that as we delve into our subject here today. I just wanted to speak to whoever's coming in to the chat. And if you do want to ask Melissa any questions in terms of a psychic reading, please be as specific as you can in terms of perhaps your name. Your first name always helps to give a more accurate reading, where it is you're coming from, and what it is that you wish to get out of this mini reading from Melissa. So as much information as you can give us, the better and more accurate these readings are for you. So we will chat a bit, and then we'll come back and do some live psychic medium readings with Melissa. So as we titled the show today, we talked about bridging our reality with the new earth. So what does the new earth really mean? To me, it means it is not, first of all, not a location. It's not a physical place. We are very much on the earth as it is meant to be, but it is just a higher vibrational frequency, a higher consciousness that is still manifesting. So it is still coming into being, let us say. So this path that we're trying to forge into those higher those higher dimensionalities, which is being referred to as the new earth, is us raising our frequency vibration. And so we are, in a way, working on ourselves, raising our own frequency vibration, and leaving behind all of those garbled frequencies, let's say, that was imprinted on us, not through our own making, but through beings that infiltrated our reality and superimposed their low frequency vibration upon this earth plane and upon the inhabitants of the earth for many hundreds and hundreds of years. And so, in a way, we have received that vibration, if you will, through our DNA, through our ancestral lineages. And in a way, we are living within that low frequency vibration that they imposed on us. So we are now breaking through all of that and raising ourselves out of that. And how we are doing this is by, first of all, realizing the truth of our own sovereignty, if you will, and coming into understanding that we are not those low frequency vibrational beings that they would like us to be, but we are indeed very powerful beings, and we are interdimensional beings as we were meant to be, as it was created by the Creator. And so, in a way, I like to call it the evolutionary cycle, and I've talked extensively about this in my first book. And so this evolutionary cycle that was created by the Creator was severed in a way by these invader forces. And so what we are doing now is we are going back in a way. And back, I don't mean backwards, but we are reestablishing that frequency vibration of being on that correct evolutionary cycle as it was designed by the Creator, and not superimposed by these beings who wanted to believe that they were more powerful than the Creator. And so we are reestablishing our connection to the Creator. We are reestablishing our connection to our higher self. And we are reestablishing our sovereignty, our freedom. And so that's what it means to me to be able to bridge that gap between the now and that higher dimensional aspect. And it's called the fifth dimension. And I talk about this in the book as well. My book is appropriately named Progressing to the Fifth Dimension. And so what we are doing is we are progressing from that third dimensional low energy to that higher fifth dimensional energy. And what we have to understand, I think, is that Earth at that prime time when she was infiltrated was a very high vibrational being on her own. And so, as a default, the beings that lived upon her plane were also vibrating at that very high frequency. And it was between the fifth and the seventh dimensional frequency that we vibrated at that time. And so, with the invasion, we went, from that trauma, from that shock and trauma of the invasion, we went all the way into the fourth and the lower third dimensional aspect of living within this earth. Of course, when you look outside, you think, oh, yeah, it's still beautiful, it's still green. Yes, it is, but we are still vibrating at a very low frequency. We can be so much better. And so, this bridge that we are building is not only for ourselves, but it's also for the earth to reach that pinnacle once again and go beyond, because she too is an evolving being. And so, in a way, her evolution was also arrested during that invasion. So, in a way, we are turning the page on all of this for ourselves and for the earth as well. I hope that was a good summary of what my idea is of this new earth.
Yeah, that was really well said. Really well. And I agree. It's a rise in consciousness, but that's so what does that mean? And I always say it's almost like in the fall, as we call it, there were many movies imprinted into us, many movies, loops of movies, and they just keep going and going. So, and we didn't choose them. So it wasn't to our liking. And the movies were just some of the really rough ones. And, you know, you got 5,000 movies going on at the same time. And there's boogie monsters and zombies and weird things that we did not choose or dream up. And they're moving through our energies and the consciousness, and it keeps pulling us down. So now, as we know, we're rising up and piece by piece. Speaking of movies, kind of like when and Star Trek is one of my favorites. I'm not the ultimate sci-fi person, but I love Star Trek, and I do have a crush on Spock. But when they all say, "Beam me up, Scotty," and you would see all the little pieces of them go, and they were beamed up to wherever they were meant to go. So that's teleportation, as we should call it. And what if some of our little pieces, those pieces, when we start to beam up to those higher, have some heavy pieces in them still? And so as we bridge, those pieces can't make, and it hurts, and it pulls up these energies here that we're experiencing, whether it feels, you know, heavy, dense pain, suffering in some way in our personal lives or our big picture. There are still some pieces that can't quite exist in those higher realms. And so piece by piece, we're sweeping out those lower densities, and we become clear, and we can beam right up. And that brings that bridge of science and spirit together as it was meant to be, as out of the inversion, out of the fallen energies. And so that's one of the movies I'm going to choose for my personal experience. And I'm going to just throw out The Godfather. I don't need any mafia things going on. I'm going to throw out the Jaws, because sharks scare me, and I can't have them flying out at my face. I just can't. It's not good. And lots of vampires. I'm just not down with that right now. And the stuff like that. So those pieces that we can correlate to illness and pain, separation, or lack and poverty, and whatever it may be. We're working on that, and we're going to walk together and come in those higher dimensions. And what do you know? We can breathe, and we can know with Mother Earth, with Gaia, that you made it through. And those other things aren't allowed in our houses, in our movies, in our mind, body, spirit, soul form, our community, our consciousness anymore. And so I think nobody really knows exactly what pure form New Earth is exactly like, but it's pretty good for all of us. And happiness and healthiness and richness and fulfillment and joy and wholeness is the foundation. Lots of love and compassion and laughter and, you know, the good stuff. So
I love
I
it.
know I'm creative sometimes in the way that but
I love
that's
it.
how I see
I
it.
love it. I love it. And that's what we need to tune into, you know, our own creativity, which is what we were meant to be here. We were meant to be individual creators. So it doesn't matter how wild your creativity is, you know, we're meant to bring it forward and to experience that in the physical body. I just love that analogy that you just gave about that filtration system, right? And that's so important because that's where we have to, in a way, engage with the trauma, engage with all those things that are keeping us stuck in this heavy third dimension, right? So whether it's this lifetime or the past lifetimes, we need to go in and put a spotlight on those areas and examine it and bring it to the light and heal it. And so that's why you and I are here, you know, offering our services to help those that are finding it difficult to bridge that gap, if you will, to overcome those difficulties. And so, you know, if it's soul by soul that we are helping, then why not, you know? And I feel honored to be here to be able to do that work, to help, you know, lend that helping hand to others that are finding it difficult to overcome those trauma aspects of themselves or to even understand these subjects, you know. It's so important to not feel alone or to not feel isolated, because I know I felt that way when I first awakened. You know, I was like, am I dreaming this? You know, is this real? For me, the hardest part was aligning the interdimensional aspects, the ET that's standing behind you. It's like all of that, reconciling all of that in my mind. It's like I didn't necessarily love those movies, but yes, I did see Star Trek. But to me, it was very bizarre. I'm like, this is something that I could never align with. But then fast forward 10 or 15 years, when I came to the understanding of all of the things that were truly happening, I rewatched all of those movies that I had like pushed aside as a teaching for myself, as an understanding for myself, just to get into that mindset of being able to think multidimensionally, And so all of that then just clicked into place. And I'm like, this is what it's supposed to be like, All of these movies are teaching us what our true multidimensionality is meant to be. And then it's like, binge watch Stargate, it's like, oh my God, I want to see more of it, And then I heard recently that they're remaking it. So I hope that they bring in more truth to it rather than, this fluff that they bring out from Hollywood. So, but, there are things like this that we don't necessarily engage with that are like too far out. And we think, no, we cannot, align those ideas in our body, but we have to now open our mind up to these possibilities, to these potentials, and think as multidimensional beings, as interdimensional beings, because that's what we are. We've been forced to think in a very small way, and like you correctly said, the entertainment industry, and, to my understanding, there's so many of these social structures that have, in a way, trained us to think with this very tunnel vision and what they want us to think, And so we think there's nothing beyond that, right? The education system, the medical system, the entertainment system, all of these have influenced the way we think. Even the way we go about our day, it's like, we are so trained to do that 9 to 5 job. We have to go to work, we have to go to school, we have to get a house, we have to get a car, we have to do this, we have to do that. No, you don't have to. Be
Yeah,
creative, live on this earth as you want to, not as you are being shepherded to do, So and that's the way we need to break out of the system. That's the path, in my opinion, to this new earth, because we are being called to break those old paradigms and to crack open those other potentials that we can individually think up and do in our own way to be sustainable, to think outside the box, So I think that's very, very important, to break out of those systems, which to me is freeing ourselves from that third dimensional aspect and moving into that higher dimension and saying, this is the way I want to live, in sovereignty, in truth, to my being and how I want to live from my heart and in direct connection with the creator, not co-creating with these lower dimensional beings. I would rather co-create with the creator. Do you know what I mean?
totally. Yes, yes, and yes. Well said again. And I have a question for all of us. I've thought of this many times. Again, my perspective and things since I was just a little child, and I used to see extra dimensional beings and different kinds of beings that would come check, and that was kind of scary. Some of them were jerks, and some of them were pure light, and you can tell the difference. Um, and one of the things about this time period for all of us is it doesn't have to be just like a movie. It doesn't have to be, they don't have to look just like the movie said or behave. What would we want it to, in this consciousness, as we create that higher dimension of this next era? How do we create the multidimensional beings that are surpass those old ways of looking at things? And how do we open up our consciousness or activate our consciousness to recognize, oh, they're people. They might have, they might be Chewbacca, or they might
Yeah.
be, how do we perceive it differently? This is a great time for us to be able to create that,
Yeah.
and to recognize also that as a person with a UFO tour experience adventure for a number of years and loves this subject, I think a lot of the ones that we can see sometimes are like industrial complex, so they're not the higher ones
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
And so how can we receive them and not be scared? How can we receive them and recognize, and how can they receive us and know we're not going to try to punch them or blow them away too? And that consciousness raises and living higher. I hope I'm making sense. But
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
I think that core truth is that it's time for us to be who we came here to be,
Hmm. Yeah.
uniquely in each one of us and our true divine blueprint, and nourish each other. And there is plenty for everybody. There's plenty of food. There's plenty of shoes. There's plenty of
Land,
smile,
land, land. Yeah.
land.
That's the big thing, right? Everywhere it's like they're just trying to get everything back, claw everything back to themselves, and create these awful, what are they calling them? Smart cities, right? So crowding everybody into little places. That's not the way you're meant to live. But no, I truly appreciate what you've said. And it's that reconciliation, that understanding, that educating yourself, finding it in your heart, how to connect with these beings, how to welcome them into your heart. It was very scary for me too. It's like, who are the Arcturians? And when you look at Arcturians on the internet, it's like these beautiful blue beings. But is that what they really look like? Who knows? So it's left up to us to tune into our heart and to see these beings for what they truly are. And once you, like, we've been talking, once you tune into your heart, once you clarify in a way that connection with your higher self, with the creator, you will soon clear away all that, um, what do you call it? Like webbing, or, it's like fog on a glass, or, when you clean your lenses, it's like you need to clean it to see clearly, right? And so you have to be able to do that for yourself, tune into your heart, tune into the creator, and ask for those impressions to be valid for you, to become visible for you. And once you get into that space, then you start to engage with these beings that are ready to receive you and to say hello. It's like, for me and my interactions with them, it was like they were just waiting on the sidelines to be welcomed, and to say hello, because they respect us, they honor that code, if you will, unlike the Draco, who didn't. They just came in and took what they wanted, but there is an honor code in that higher universe. And so they wait for us to say hello, wait for us to open our hearts to them and say, yes, I'm ready to receive you. And so we need to give them that sign that we are ready to receive them without fear. I think fear is the key, because fear is a very low dimensional frequency. And so if we step forward without fear, with love in our heart, then all those experiences are possible for us to experience that interdimensional contact, that understanding of the galactic history, reconcile that reality with, whatever you want to call them, extraterrestrial, interstellar beings, whatever you want to call these energies that are coming from different dimensions, to be here to support us on this journey of ascension. And I think we've talked about this before, Melissa, you and I. We are at this time in galactic history where this has never happened before, this particular type of ascension, where we have many different stages of beings that were either come here as, invaders, first of all. Those have been trapped here for many, many thousands of years. Those who have come in as new souls just to experience this ascension. And there are those like the light workers, like the star seeds, that have come here to help the many with this ascension process. So all of these beings are connected to many star nations. And so all of these star nations have skin in the game, so to speak, so they're all sitting on the sidelines, eating popcorn, so to speak, and watching the action that's taking place on Earth right now. I mean, for them, it's probably a blink of an eye, but for us, it's many hundreds of years, right? And because we are in this time matrix, for them, time doesn't exist. And so it's like watching a movie in slow motion for them, right? For us to reach that pinnacle, whenever that is, right? So yeah, I think it's fascinating that we are in this drama, so to speak, and we now have to play our role, play that you know, that hero's role, if you will, you know, to do the best that we can here in this reality to reach that highest goal, that highest possible soul aspect of ourselves that we can, because we're not just helping ourselves, we are helping the collective as well. So I hope that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. You can ask them, or I found this is my experience. Not only have I been startled or unsure about some, so I ask, I'm like, show me your heart, show me your light, and make sure you're okay. In the past, but you can ask them and go, none of them will come real close to you or be in your space or interfere or anything like that. And like you said, um, they are part of us. If we are unity, then they are in a big, 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 big picture way part of us. And you can ask them, like, I'm a little bit scared, I'm a little bit startled. Would you please help me with that and show me the truth, and ask, God source, whatever you do to help make sure And I remember I learned this in Sedona, because I can feel the pulse sometimes of the earth, and I listen and I can hear what it's saying. Like, I can hear the bandwidth layers of the earth sometimes, and I say, what can I do to help? And a little being used to come see me. I should ask for her again and see if she would come. But she was really shy, and she's like, you guys are kind of barbaric. Your energies flip very quickly. So we're gentle, loving beings, but we're awaiting you to get out of your like old west, shoot 'em up phase. And she would talk to me, and she would sit probably 20, 15 feet away from me. And I would go sit outside and talk to her. And so I said, can you help me understand, because all of us humans were programmed to go, I'm fine, and be real strong and act real strong. She says, of course we know that, but sometimes you're a little dangerous when you're prickly on your own. And she says, so we can work on that. And she taught me a little bit how there are different layers of beings that are absolutely ready to talk if you would like to. And you can always have your teams together and things like that. But she was quite joyous and loving and pure light. And she was just waiting for me to ask her, like, how can I perceive you differently? How can I perceive, and how can I calm down my own energy and connect in only pure way? And she taught me a little bit, and it was profoundly helpful to me. And so I hope that helps a little bit. Oh, wait, you're on mute.
Sorry, there's just a lot of noise in the background here. Yes. Yeah, no, that's really beautiful. Thank you for bringing that in. But yeah, I totally agree with that. The elementals have, in a way, vanished from our reality. When you think about the Fae and the druids and all of those very beautiful energies that existed within that time period, which was pure and directly connected to those higher dimensional energies. And so we need to reestablish, we need to fix all of that. We need to, in order to do that, we need to first clean up house, right? So to speak, within our own mind, within our own being. And we need to look outside of ourselves. And like I've constantly driven this on all of my shows and all of my blogs and wherever I can, we need to first clear up what the Draco left behind. And that is the human population that are holding the cards right now. People in high places like the political arena, the healthcare arena, the educational arena. Like these are the people that are driving that agenda that was brought through all the years, And so we need to break down all of that and not support these systems anymore because we are many, and they are just a few. So the more people we get to see the light, so to speak, the more people that understand what is truly going on, then, all of these agendas will just break down. And we already see that, like a big example now is the Epstein files that have come to light. And, they are trying everything in their power to put that genie back in the bottle, which I don't think is possible because a lot of that is affecting many of the people in high places. And so, there's damage control going on right now, but I think there's far too much that has been exposed for them to hide now. And so, we have to keep chipping away, because that is one of the biggest things, in my opinion, that that satanic ritual abuse, the kidnapping of children, the kidnapping of women, the abuse of women. I think that is what needs to be healed. That trauma needs to be healed. And we've talked about this as well on the show, the balance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. The patriarchal system is what is holding this up. And to a large extent, that too is a toxin, a damage that has been done to the masculine energy, right? And so we need to look kindly upon those masculine energies that have taken on this mantle, perhaps out of necessity, but they need to realize that this is not the way that even they are meant to function. And so they need to find it within their hearts to once again establish that true connection to the Creator and identify that masculinity within themselves, and not follow what society is driving them to do, or telling them what a masculine energy is meant to be. So yeah, there's so many things that are wrong, unfortunately, with this world, that needs fixing. So it has to come from each and every one of us in order to be cleansed, to be fixed, so that we may all live in joy, in peace, in harmony, and in love, and to bring about that balance. And that is, to me, the way we can bridge that reality that we wish to go to in the new earth, by clearing away all of this garbage.
I agree. I strongly agree. How's that?
Yeah.
Because I also see, like, sometimes look around and I'm kind of quiet and stay to myself a lot over many years. Um, but I look out at some of the things going on, whether it's in my own personal life or, um, in bigger pictures or political or medical or educational or banking or whatever it is. And I go, that's not logical when people go, I know everything and this is how it has to be. And I'm like, that's not even logical. And not like I know everything. I'm absolutely looking in the mirror every day and asking myself the same thing, like, what can I do to learn and be more clear today and help. Um, but some of I feel like it's almost like sliding down the walls. We're like catching it quicker. And I think that's kind of fun. They're like, like the old cartoons again. Let me just throw in some more movies.
Yeah.
Like the movie where they're like, I'm gonna get you, and they're running after each other, and one hits a wall and slides, boing, 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 boing.
Oh, this is like
And
Tom and Jerry, right?
yeah, and they have the little zoing, oing, oing around their head, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, that's enough. We see that what suspicious activity was not really stable in the first place. And we can surpass those pieces and enjoy and make the next chapters abundant and flourishing and healthy and happy and whole for everybody. I don't know
Yeah,
what's best for you or so and so or those people and those people. I just know I love them and want the best for them, and I'm here to hold their hand. Make
yeah,
sense?
absolutely. I think that's really important. And we've been talking about this on our Work missions too, The more we align, the more we hold hands, and the more we see eye to eye on all of these issues, and the more we try to heal it together, I think we are all coming into alignment together and saying, yes, this is where we want to be. This is where we want to go. So the more people that come forward and try to heal themselves and heal the world with them or with us, then that it becomes that much more stronger, that much more powerful for us to be speaking the same language, right?
Yeah, I strongly agree again.
Yeah, I mean, like I've made some notes here just about all of the things that are wrong in this world right now, and we've talked about it just a few minutes ago, but there's still so many things that need to be fixed, the food, the oil, the water. It's like all of this was in a way designed for us to be in that lower dimension, in that non-abundance, right? In that non-abundant state. And to me, it's just so wrong. It's so wrong where kids are being programmed to think a certain way, to live in that scarcity, right? And so it's really hard to break out of that programming, if you will, that mind control. And to me, it's like, how do you do that? It's like people have lived, and for someone like me, it's like I've been here on this earth for 50 odd years now, and like, how do you tell somebody like that everything that you've done, everything that you've worked so hard to do is wrong? You need to break all of that down and create a new life for yourself. It's really crazy, to tell somebody that. So we have to find
Yeah,
that
it can
middle ground.
make people cranky sometimes.
Yeah, we have to find that middle ground. We have to be in that state where we can powerfully say, okay, these are the reasons why this earth and these practices are wrong. And we have to be able to alchemize their understanding into realizing what it is we are fighting for, what it is we're trying to establish here, right? So that needs to come from the heart. That needs to be established within the heart. And so I gave up a long time ago, trying to go on Facebook or go on the internet and just say, wake up, wake up, wake up, just being mean about it. And I realized, no, that's not the way to do it. You have to engage people, you have to speak from the heart, and you have to understand where people are coming from. And in a way, be that empath, try to understand their mindset and try to slowly shape them into that interdimensional being, into that understanding through education, through example, because you and I have gone through the ringer, so to speak, in our own experiences, and have come to that understanding within ourselves. So we have to, in a way, lead by example and show people that this has been our path, and this is how we came into the understanding of being interdimensional beings, of understanding those interdimensional beings, of engaging with them, and now stepping forward as those light beings with that true understanding. Does that
And
make sense?
compassion.
Yeah.
I always say compassion because it's okay if I don't understand what it's been like in your shoes, but I can't force that's one of the reasons I've been a world renowned psychic medium healery lady for so long, is because I would never try to force just my own perspective ways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do have compassion. And here, I hear you, I know, I see you. And that recognition of each other, I think, really almost breaks through a whole lot of big, heavy stuff and reactivates us and um, brings that, um, yeah,
Mm.
scrub away prejudice and judgment,
Yeah.
compassion, and then we
Because even
stand together.
just living day to day is so hard, and then you say, okay, even that is all wrong. It's like, wow, it's like a punch in the gut, it's like, it's big steps you're asking somebody to make. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there has to be love, there has to be compassion, there has to be forgiveness, and that whole shifting of the paradigm, just shifting your way of thinking. So it
Not
is,
an
it
easy
is,
gig.
it's not
It's
easy.
not
Yeah.
an easy gig to be in any of the first or second or third waves at all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with each step that each one of us takes, and each step that the healers help each other, and all that, the ministers, the all that, those words that we could use,
Hmm.
I think it opens up for everybody,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful, and
Yeah.
there are
And I also
really
want
good
to
days ahead.
add, yeah, I also want to add to that, we're not alone. Like I said, there are all these beings waiting in the sidelines to help us, but we are also being helped by the creator. We are moving into this photon belt, which is directly the energies of the creator, the energies of love that were created by these beings that love, 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 love in their mind, in their heart. The Palladians, they just speak love out of every pore of their being. And so they have created, in a way, this bubble of the love energy, so to speak. That is what we are gliding through right now, the photon belt, as we move through the Pleiades, as we move through that Alcyon central sun. And so we are being bathed by default with that love frequency, with that love energy. So it is not hard for us to, excuse me, to tune into that energy anymore like it used to be, so there's that help that we're getting by default. So all we need to do is just center ourselves for one, center ourselves. And even if it's for a few minutes a day, spend that time in meditation, in quiet, because you have all these distractions around you. You need to just lay all that aside and just focus on that heart center, on that 0 point energy field in your heart, in your chakra, in your heart chakra, and just connect, even if it's to connect to that photon belt, just say, okay, I'm tuning into my heart today. What is the photon belt? Show me what the photon belt is. And I can guarantee you that you will tune into that love frequency, so it's just out there. You just have to, like I said, open your heart, open your mind to those potentials, and you will receive it. You will receive it.
Beautiful. That makes me giggle a little bit. I have a friend, I agree, and just connect to the 0 point photon belt. And if there's people amongst us that don't really care for the idea of space and stars and starseed things, that's okay too. Their way is fine too. Like, great too. I have a friend, client, I met her so many years ago, and she's just a sassy little thing. She's a therapist, and she says sometimes, she's on my list to just text when I'm having a hard time. I'm like, will you just hold space for me? I'm having a hard time. And she'll be like, yes. And that's it. And really positive, really brilliant, really wonderful. And she always, she says, why don't you go into outer space in your, spirit body? And she goes, don't go into the weird mist or anything, but connect in those 0 points with a planet or a star. And you don't have to know its name, but ask for the vibe. And she says, I do that all the time, and it helps me figure things out. And that purity can kind of come in, and I'm like, oh, I need some Venusian energy. Yes, I'll do that.
Yeah,
Only for God. And whatever way that is for each one of us. And, whether it's asking for Jesus, sometimes I'll ask for Jesus, Yeshua, to hold my hand and go, like, just sit with me, or whatever it may be. They'll help you if we ask, like you said, and we're not alone. And that's just wondrous. I've been opening my eyes this week, like, okay, all right, you're okay. It's not, you're going to be fine, to myself, and going, wait a minute, you're the one that always says you're not alone. Could you possibly allow yourself to be liked and loved, and for people to um, love you and like you? And that includes our teams, our angels, our loved ones, our different layers in the multiverse, the consciousness.
yeah, totally agree. I love the analogy that you just made about your friend and seeking advice. But before that, you said something really that sort of sparked something in me. There are those that, and like you said, don't necessarily see eye to eye or see what we are seeing or want to experience that. And to me, it's like it's your path. It's your free will. But to me, that's like taking the scenic route, if you will. Yes, you will get there, but you have to go through a lot of struggles. You'll have to go through a lot of challenges along the way to get to where we are now. And we are offering you that quick path, if you will, that quick way to get there. And I'm not saying that, we are the be all and end all of this ascension journey. This is just one way of getting us there, one way of leading us into that higher dimensional aspect of ourselves. And so we are, in a way, saying, come on, let's go, let's form a group, and let's go this way, let's follow this path. And we see it so clearly ahead of us. And so the more that we get together with us, and we are like a band of light workers together. We're saying, okay, we see the light, let's go there. And in the background, we see all of these winding roads and curving roads that people are taking, but we see it so clearly. They're all going, but they somehow get to that same end path where we are heading towards, but their struggles are going to be a lot more than what we are facing right now. That's the way I see it.
That's really profound and beautiful. Thank you for saying that. I agree. And in my experience, again, not like I know everything either. I learn every single day, and relearn sometimes and scrub my little windshield and have more clarity and keep walking. But over all the many years, especially of working with different people of so many different backgrounds and so many different belief systems, and it's always been my job for 1 hour to step into theirs and sit with them and just read the energy, not do anything to the energy, but put my toe in and read it and for them. And I've always found that none of the frequencies and none of the loved ones like Jesus Christ, Yeshua, our angels, Archangel Michael, they don't ever act like they're above us. They don't ever act like you're not doing it enough.
Yeah.
And so that's what us in our human bodies and minds have been used to when we've been scolded for not being certain ways. They always see us as equal.
Yeah.
And so will the divine beings, the galactic beings that we're unfolding and learning about, as well, the pure ones, and those 144,000 frequencies that are reactivating and all of the things in us. And that's the coolest part, because sometimes I think that will help every single human being, whatever path they're on, whatever belief systems they have, however they want their movies and script to go, that the loved ones, the light is in them and equal, and walk with them. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense.
No, I love it. I love it. It rings very, very true in my heart too. And as many of you know, I've written a book with Yeshua. And so his teachings were very direct and very profound to me. And when we started up, I of course came with all of the baggage that I was brought up on, and the religious beliefs and all of that. And he was like, no, 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 leave all of that behind. You and I are one. You don't need to worship me or go down on a knee and pray to me. That's not the way this relationship is going to go forward. You and I are one. In fact, you will do greater things than I have ever been able to do. He's always said that. So,
Yeah.
Thinking about it that way, it's very, very humbling, because in our mind, we think of this being as, huge, as lifelike, and it's like, yes, he is, but at the same time, he was a very humble being and is still a humble being, and is still here very much in our reality, trying to help each and every one of us meet us where we are, like you rightly said. It's not like, they have these preconceived ideas or notions about, oh, you're too dark, or you're too light, or you're too white, or, you're too dirty. No, 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 no. They just see us as pure beings, and where was I going with this? Oh, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, you're so right. It's like we have to. Oh yes, I think I remember now. We have to alchemize that devotion we feel in our hearts. Whether we are practicing as a Hindu, as a Muslim, as a Christian, that aspect of devotion that we feel in our heart for that image or for that being. And I think this came through in our last transmission, the last show that we had with Yeshua. He transmitted that message very clearly. It's like, bring forth that devotion that you feel in your heart and use that as your way forward. Use that to break through, in a way, what we're talking about today, break through that dimensional divide, if you will, to bridge that gap between now and the future. Use that devotion as your own alchemy to spiral you forward, to break through all of those paradigms that were created within this 3 dimension, right? So I think that's really, really useful to, in a way, challenge yourself to look at all of those beliefs that you've had in your heart, and the religious beliefs or whatever it is that you have held close in your heart. Examine that through the lens of what it is we are experiencing now as interdimensional beings, right? And I promise you, it will change your way of thinking. It will alchemize that way of thinking from your heart if you truly delve deep into your heart and look at it through those lenses of, the creator, of co-creating, of aligning that energy with that higher energy. So that has rang through for me and my teachings with Yeshua.
Beautiful. Me too. In different ways. It's been so helpful, and so helpful in my journey and looking at myself. And I personally have been through a lot of severe trauma things, and to learn how to look at myself and love myself and forgive myself, um, um, to be able to connect with them and our soul tribe
Mm-hmm.
and say, I'm just me today. I can't be better. I can't be different.
Yeah.
Um, and just be myself, especially for me, with Jesus, with Yeshua, and see him, um, the being that he is, as my BFF, as my, you know, instead of someone to fear
Mm-hmm. Or
or
even to revere as that, God or whatever, as being higher than, above than you. And that's something that I've even heard from Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary. It's like, no, no, you don't need to, beg and plead and pray to me and, ask for favors. That's just not the way we wish to be perceived. So I think that's something that we have to change in our way of thinking. And, there
and
could
that
be, sorry, go ahead.
I think to be able to recognize that spark, because this is just the only way I know how to say it at this moment, is that I think we are all sparks of God. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there are some yucky beings that we're leaving behind, and those movies are on the way out. Boom.
Yeah.
But um, even the differences in each other, the people that have different opinions, or they grew up in a different place, or I don't know, like different shoes
Mm-hmm.
or toast or something. Um, Usually we see each other as different. It's like taller or shorter, or thicker or thinner, richer or poorer, gives something to, like, their clout, they're better. And that's totally false. So if you can see in the other people that
Yeah.
each other, not only in the mirror, but in other people that other people call ugly or not good enough, then you'll realize this is the meaning of Christ.
Yeah. Well, and that's the
Is that
way too that we've been programmed to think, right? So we have to, in a way, look into our hearts and say, okay, where is this coming from? Like examine that feeling, Was it taught behavior? Was it, ancestral behavior? So question it, go into your own heart and say, where is this coming from? Is it within my DNA? Have I always, thought these thoughts? Or, yeah, just question yourself, go back and change it within yourself, alchemize it and say, okay, from tomorrow, I'm not going to think this way. So it has
it
to
can
come
change
from
everything
within.
in a breath?
It has to come from within. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So shall we take some questions, Melissa, and we can come back and chat a little bit as we
Yeah, I'd
go
love
through this.
to.
All right, let's just welcome everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here. We've got Melissa X1H2Q. She says, hi, I'm Melissa in New Zealand. I lost my dear friend Travis suddenly on July 19th last year. Does he please have a message for me?
Yes.
Melissa from New Zealand.
Thank you, Melissa. He's an interesting thinker. He's interesting. He wants you to know that he's got it. He's all right. Did he like to be outside? I'm seeing him give you signs outside. He just wants you to know that he's safe, and um he loves you too. He says you can feel him quite a bit. Um but it's, sometimes feels not enough or a little distorted. And he says that is him, and he made it through. He's in the right spaces, places, and he's carrying. I mean, he's walking the line, the correct line, and he wants all of you to know that he's safe. He's going to give you signs outside, like I'm just seeing like the trees, breeze go through the trees, and something that he loves that'll just really ring true in your heart that he's with you. And he says that he's sorry that it happened this way, but he is safe and he is well and he's free. And he's saying, would you please hold love for, I think, like a sister or a mom or others, because it's just beyond comprehension what happened. And he said, it was my time to shift into spirit because I have some very purposeful things to do. He's very funny, or quirky funny. And he's he's well and safe, and he's doing peace. He says, I have peace now. And something about watch the boats. I don't know if you're around water ever, but watch the boats and or be around the water sometimes, even if it's the bathtub. But if you're around a lake or the ocean or a creek or the tub, just know that his energy will be able to chat with you a little bit more. And he says, I promise I'll talk to you. I need everyone to know I'm okay. And he'll give you really cool signs outside.
Awesome.
And hummingbird too.
Thank you. That sounds really beautiful. That was for Melissa in New Zealand. I hope you're still in the chat, Melissa. So hopefully, if you are not, you can get to watch the replay and tune into this beautiful message from Travis. All right, let's move on to the next question. It's Ace V8H. Hi, Melissa and Raquel. Lovely topics today. May I ask what you see coming up on my timeline and path shortly ahead, or anything about what my guides and higher self want to tell me?
Yeah.
Oh, she
Did you
says my
say A?
name is Liora, Liora.
Leora.
Beautiful.
Pardon me if I'm not saying it correctly. Um, I feel her energy. There's some cool stuff that I feel. And I feel like there are some, that's a neat way you asked, like on your timeline, because I feel like you're getting ready to step and jump and step. It's almost like I'm seeing musical. Remember that movie Big from 9,000 years ago? It's like the 90s or 80s, where
Tom
the kid
Hanks.
would jump on the piano,
Oh,
big piano on the ground.
maybe. Is it the Tom Hanks
And
movie?
yes. And he went to go play on the and it was huge piano. And if you put your little feet on it, it would go ding dong dong dong. Like he could play the piano and it would light up. So I'm seeing so many aspects of her life, and just almost like flash into pure form. And I'm seeing your I don't know the right word exactly right now, but you know how as spiritual people like to use many cool words. It's almost like into your avatar, into your solid um knowing. So the work that you've done, I feel like, has been extensive and amazing, and you're really strong and deep and advanced. And I'm seeing these beautiful frequencies come into your aspects of life real quickly. And I feel like you've completed and completed and completed some heavy, hard stuff. And I feel like you're going to feel like I'm almost seeing someone or people or connections come back to you free and clear, and just abundance. And I'm seeing these flashes, like, so I don't know everything about you, but I feel like you have this really advanced way of moving through the omniverse yourself. and the multi-dimensions. And I feel like it's going to just come in really cool frequency ways, also like signs. And there is one guide that is stepping forward that's really tall and groovy looking. And this is not a person that in our loved one group, but one of your guides that you talk to and saying they just want to remind you that they're really proud of who you are. And I feel like your journey is going to take, in some ways, a really big, drastic, exquisite, awesome, miraculous, uplifted turn.
Mm. Yeah, that's beautiful. I see that too. I feel like I have to say this, Leora. Tune into your heart center, tune into your heart chakra, and just allow for those energies to light your body up and connect with that energy of the creator. This will heighten your connection to your higher self as well. So just tuning in, spending some time, just aligning that energy with the heart center. You'll almost see it like an explosion in your heart, and allow for that connection to then reach up, reach up, reach up through your crown chakra as high as you can go, and just light up that central pillar. And as Melissa said, you will be guided and you will be shown all of these aspects of yourself. So, yeah, just tune into your own heart and you will find those answers. Thank you.
I agree. I think you got really cool love coming in and expansion and great stuff. So thank you so much.
We have a comment from M. Verby. Hello, beautiful souls. She says, or he says, let's go. I think this is something we were talking about before. Perhaps let's go into the fifth dimension. Or let's hold hands and let's go down that lighted path. I don't
have to say, all of us are feeling that way. Like, hello,
let's go.
can we just get on the elevator and go now? Oh, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's high time, isn't it? I think that's it for the questions today, but we'll keep checking back in. So thank you everybody for being here today. I just want to reiterate that Melissa is taking questions to give a mini psychic medium reading to anyone that has any questions. So the chat is open right now for those questions. But we'll be chatting here for just a few more minutes. We're coming up to the hour, so we'll be shutting down pretty quickly. So if you have those questions, do put them in the chat. We are more than happy to answer your questions. So Leora says, "Oh my God, Melissa, you were really speaking my soul language. I totally felt you in the multiverse and accessing all those frequencies. It felt so nice to hear reflected back. And thanks again. And thanks, Raquel. I am tuning into the heart as you speak. So thank you. Thank you for being here, Leora. It's beautiful to have you here.
Sweet star seed.
I know, I feel that, right? Yeah. M. Verby says, thank you both. Melissa, anything you feel from my grandmother? Do you have a name that you can share perhaps? M. Verby? She wants to know if you feel anything from her grandmother. I've been getting messages from her, which is odd for me because I was never close to her.
Sometimes that happens when we're reconciling those pieces in us, in our consciousness, especially if we're working on our generational lines. And M, I think, is I think you're receiving the truth. What I'm seeing from a grandmother for you, even if you weren't close, sometimes we don't know how to be close in our relationships in many ways, especially in family. Sometimes we think we are, we don't know how. And she says, I believe you. And she says, I believe you. I understand now. And she says, keep breathing big. And like Raquel was saying, go into your heart, even if you feel like you can't get there. Sometimes all of us feel like, am I there? Can I feel it? Just your intention to begin with is great. Yes, you're yes. And she will help you. She's on your team to help you be unbuckled and unwound from some of the heavy things in this physical reality that we've experienced, where you think, okay, maybe I'm just supposed to be alone, or maybe I didn't say it enough, or maybe I don't know. And she says, we're working on those family lines. And she's showing me, this is weird. I think this came up somehow last week or in some reading I did this week. But she's showing me almost like a book. And she says some of the things we're clearing out in those lower densities of our past generational lines, things that we don't even have words for. And she says, you're doing a really good job. And she says, remember, you can ask for God, source creator, to help you choose. And she says, you're not behind. And she wants you to know that this is this is funny to me, out of nowhere, not funny, hilarious, but she's got an animal or two of yours too, saying, remember what it feels like to be loved by the animals whenever, if we're stinky or if we're cranky or if we're a little bit late, they still love us.
Mm.
And remember what it feels like, that, and that your heart will open up. And she's got some of your animals of past. And she says, remember, you came here and you almost were like historic, or the hand of God dropped you in a unusual place, so that you could learn and also expand and teach and come back into your wholeness and rise up in this ascension. And sometimes that's lonely or alone or tough going for all of us in different ways. And she says, I just want you to know that I love you, even though I did not know how when I was in my physical. And just remember that sometimes some people have a different perspective, or they do not know how to express right now. And congratulations, she says. I don't know what that's about, but it's almost like it's almost like a leaping forward in something just for you that'll make your heart really happy. And remember to go to that place, she says. What will make happy? What will make me happy? Because you leave yourself out a lot, is what she's saying. And she says, the whole divine universe is with you. And I just wanted you to know that I believe you and I'm proud of you. And you're not going to be left behind, she promises.
Wow, that is truly beautiful. Thank you, Lisa. We have a response. Embody says, oh, I was thinking of all my past pups. Oh, thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you for your question, Embody. And thank you, Melissa, for that beautiful reading. That was so profound. I think that spoke to my heart as well, because I'm here in Adelaide trying to correct those ancestral lineages, if you will. And so in a way, I have been tuning into family that have passed on that, you know, I wasn't necessarily close to, but now that they see everything from the other side, it's like, you know, they're telling me, like, you are the only one that's able to see the truth for what it is and decipher it for what it is and try to correct that. And so in a way, they are grateful that we are able to cut those cords in a way and change the course of family lineages, of ancestral history, and say, okay, enough is enough, you know, we are the ones stepping in and changing that history for the ones that are to come, you know, for the future generation. And so it takes a lot, I think, for us to come to that understanding and to be those forerunners, if you will, those pioneers of saying, okay, you know, we are going to be the healers for our generation, and say that's enough, you know, we are here to step forward and make those corrections, correct the course of how we move forward. So I think it's very healing and it's very cathartic for us to be able to understand that we are the ones that are meant to change this path. And so when you were talking about the grandmother that just came through, it doesn't matter, if you were close to them in this lifetime. They understand these things from a different perspective now. And so, like all of those beings that are waiting in the sidelines, your family, your ancestors, your lineage will also come forward because they understand you on a more deeper level, perhaps the way you think. And it's also, in a way, a companionship, if you will, for you to have somebody there um, in your entourage, so to speak, right? That understands you, that you can immediately identify with, even if you were not close. But your grandmother, it's like your mom's mom or your dad's mom. It's like pretty close to you when you are here in the physical, and so you have that affinity, that that familial link to them, right? To say, okay, there is some past there, there is some familiarity, there is some connection there. So I know that being, so I can connect with them. And so it's like a link, again, that bridging, if you will, from this world to those higher realms, to that higher dimensional aspect of thinking. So, even when I connect with all of these beings that have passed on, particularly my family, it's like you are not only healing yourself, you're healing their past as well, because they are in a way stuck here because of whatever else they might have experienced, or that they were not able to fix perhaps in their physical lifetime. And so you are anchoring that light and you are fixing it for them as well. So perhaps that's something that needs to be fixed in this person's lineage as well, and why her grandmother is coming to her now and saying, hi, help me fix this. So that could be another possibility as well.
I think that's actually quite clearly yes. Yes, Raquel, yes, yes. And in all the years of doing readings, like how many, like I'm coming up on 40 years of,
Mm,
I mean, it's, and 30 of them professional readings. Um, and they have said many times, I don't quite fully understand. Of course, I'm just the messenger sometimes too. But they have said, we see the bigger picture, and you have set us free by
mm,
your choice to heal and step forward and take responsibility in a better way,
mm.
and things like that. And so yeah, that's very strong for M
Yeah.
and her grandma, and I think there's more than just her grandma, but her grandmother wants you to know that she believes you, because it's almost like she says, like some like maybe most of the days of your life it hasn't been that anyone ever really heard you or knew
Mm,
you or
mm,
believed, and so you just didn't have much connection. And she says, and so I just want you to know that you gave that back in big
mm,
waves and ways
mm,
to our family line, setting us free. And just know we want you to know that we hear you and know and believe you.
mm. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. And we have another message from M. She says, or he says, is it a he or she? You're getting a she?
She,
Okay. I keep having a vision of love bubbles from something you said earlier, Raquel. I have a vision of blowing love bubbles to all our family and soul tribe friends. Yes, I feel that is so true. Awesome. That's so beautiful.
let's do that now.
Yeah.
Let's send love bubbles to all of our soul tribe, whether they're in physical reality, whether we've talked to them in 900 years, whether they're in spirit, whether we didn't really know them very much. Let's hold our heart and send a big smooch hug of love bubbles out to all of our divine soul tribe, our families, our friends, our loved ones.
Coming from the heart.
Oh, yes. And
Beautiful.
our past, present, future, our every level and every layer, all of our connectors. Wow, that feels
Mm,
so good.
yeah, I feel it too. It's like very
Mhm.
uplifting, isn't it? It's like just cutting all those cords and just raising everybody up into that higher frequency, whether past or, present. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Em.
Yeah, that was a nice high vibrational comment. Hey, I love it.
Yeah,
All right,
she's a
Melissa, is
groovy
there
lady.
anything else you want to say in closing as we wind down here?
I say let's I don't know, for the next days, weeks, months, remember to send out a few love bubbles to everybody everywhere. And I say thank you to Source for all of us to come together. I'm just saying thank you for allowing us to come together and learn and grow and walk together. And thank you, and sending love bubbles to Source and to all of our friends and family, our loved ones, our puppies, our kittens, our trees, because I love to hug trees, and the waters, and past, present, and future, in every level and every way. I just send out a big hug of gratitude for all of you, and the divine universe. Welcome home. Welcome to New Earth.
I love it. I love it. It's like we have this magic wand and we're just sending it all out, right? And it's like so beautiful. We are like infecting that field with this magic. So it's beautiful. Thank you for saying that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been such a beautiful show today. We're so, so grateful to all of you that tune in and ask us these very poignant questions that are so relevant to the topic that we bring through each week. So once again, make sure you hit that notifications bell so you'll come and join us on Thursdays at 5:55 p.m. PST. Thank you, Melissa. As always, it's been a beautiful, beautiful show. I always leave on such a high from these shows and it lasts me the week. So I'm so grateful to you for all that you bring through and for just being the light that you are. So I'm so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hey, thank you, Raquel. Likewise, and thank you, everybody. And I don't know. Thank you.
Awesome. We will see you next week. Namaste, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Bubbles, love bubbles.
Bye, guys.